He might be considered a hero, but this week's selection is mostly a zero. Find out what I mean as I hereby summon all my imps to join me on my adventures through Marvel Snap. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. So this week we have the card of Hercules in the shop. I'm going to go over his background, his powers, and what I think of him in a deck. So let's start out with his background. So Hercules was born a mortal, but as the son of Zeus, the king of the Olympus gods, he had an extraordinary strength even at 1 year old. As a young adult, he joined Jason and his Argonauts on their quest to find the Golden Fleece. He performed the 12 labors to prove himself worthy of immortality. Hercules began a beloved hero and celebrity and had his life adapted into Greek mythology by early men. While he was a fan of wine and women, what he always was looking for was a good, strong opponent to battle, and thus he battled against the Hulk more than once for the fun of it. Hercules has helped many groups over his long life. He was a founding member of the superhero team The Champions, aiding those mortal heroes. He has been a guest instructor at the Avengers Academy. He has played a pivotal role in the Secret Invasion with Nick Fury, but his favorite person to team up with is Thor. Hercules has become close friends with Thor. They share many stories about both of them being the sons of gods with each other. The two share a friendly rivalry in which they both argue over which one of them is the strongest. Hercules even got the Greek god Hephaestus to forge him a mace to fight alongside Thor's hammer. Hercules' powers are that he possesses the typical powers of an Olympic god, including superhuman strength, speed, reflexes, stamina, and endurance. He is considered the strongest of the Olympians in combat. He wields a golden mace, shown to be equal in durability to Thor's own magical hammer Mjolnir. Hercules' godlike strength and use of his golden mace is represented in Marvel Snap by him knocking out other cards from his location with his mace. Hercules is a 4-cost, 6-power card that has the static description of the first time another card moves here each turn, move it to another location. In my opinion, I would give him a 5-star rating of 1. And let me explain why, because I do not like giving out 1 stars. I really don't. That's something I take joy in. But it mostly came down to when I was looking at 1 card and 1 card only, and that's Phoenix Force. You compare him side by side with Phoenix Force, same cost, same power roughly. Phoenix Force is 1 less power, and I cannot think of a single instance where you wouldn't rather play Phoenix Force than Hercules. There's a weird little interaction where you can play this magical hand where on turn 1 you play the Human Torch, on turn 2 you Carnage the Human Torch, on turn 3 you play the Magic, on turn 4 you play the Phoenix Force, on turn 5 you play the Forge, and you play the Hercules, and then you move the Phoenix Force into the location of Hercules so he bats it back out, and then on turn 6 you basically play the new card of Kyra to protect your Human Torch so it doesn't die in the end round, And then on turn 6, because you got a little bit of energy left over, you play the She-Hulk and you play Sakaar. And if you can manage to make that all work, more power to you. The problem with move cards is move cards have what is commonly referred, in my opinion, to what I call the hats and pants problem, where you have the cards that gain power, like Dagger and Craven and Multiple Man, and even Vulture, and then you have the cards that move stuff, like the the Iron Fist and the Spider-Gwen. And that's the problem. And at this particular point, if you look at Hercules, you're basically looking at the same power and energy as Spider-Man 2099, and Spider-Man 2099 is going to get you more value by it moving once than I can even think of Hercules batting stuff out 2, 3, 4 times. There is a world where you play it onto the Storm as an anti-card, hoping that nobody plays into the Storm on the floor except for you, and that way it doesn't have to worry later on about like a vision going in there. I'm not sure how good that is. I really don't know how well it's going to work with Cloak, because the way it's written, I think it depends on priority. If your stuff moves over to Cloak first, it'll get knocked out. If your opponent's stuff gets moved over to Cloak first, their stuff will get knocked out. I kind of wish it just knocks stuff out of there. I think that would be a better place for this card. If it just said, whenever you play a card here, move it to a different location, I think that would be fine. And make move decks have a lot more to do with them. As much as I like the idea of maybe putting a Miles Morales Spider-Man in there, or maybe even putting a Heimdall in there to make something work near the end, I just can't see how it's really making good use of the cost. It reminds me a lot of the original Black Knight, where you need a card out on the field, you need a card that gets buffed, like Multiple Man, and then you need a card to push it into the location. So at the most, it requires 3 decent cards to work. You're looking at Hercules, let's just say Vulture, and let's say Iron Fist to make one card work, and this all starts on a very late turn in the game rotation. 4 is the time at which you want to start closing up the game. If you can't get something into Hercules on 4, the first time that you're getting him any kind of power boost, power spike, is going to be 5. And unless you're playing Limbo, you only have 6 to go. So at most, he's giving 2 of your cards a little bit of a boost. I just don't know how this is supposed to work. And unfortunately for this particular week, the collection's not that great either. The other 2 cards you have is Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night has taken a big hit since he got moved from being a 3-drop to a 4-drop. And the other one that you have is Howard the Duck. Please, do not waste the cash on Howard the Duck. Just don't do it. Wait for him to go down. He's already gone down to Series at this point, because he's now Series 4 instead of Series 5. Let him go down to Series 3 and pick him up, or just buy him with the tokens if you got it. If you're that concerned about having Howard the Duck, you'll get him with tokens at 4 now. But he is basically a card that does absolutely nothing in the game, especially if you're already using some sort of deck tracker, which a lot of people in Marvel Snap do use. I don't, but a lot of people do. So, in my opinion, if I wasn't making this for content, I would completely skip this week. None of these cards are worth even wasting 1 key on. However, I make content. So I'm going to blow a key and find out what's in the box this week. So, what's in the box? What's in the box? Let's all find. What's in the box? Box says Hercules. Alright, so I will be trying to make something work with Hercules this Friday and on this Thursday, because now we are in the new patch cycle and the drops have happened. This upcoming Thursday, I am going to open each and every one of the boxes that I have sitting in here. All these collector reserves that I have are going to be broken open on this upcoming Thursday if you want to come and watch that. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, remember, play for fun.